Hey everyone, it's Jasmine
and Chris.
Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're talking all about the air fryer.
We always get so many requests for air fryer recipes, and we also get a lot of questions about whether or not you can air fry deep fried recipes.
So today we're going to show you our favorite recipes to air fry. And also, I just want to mention, I feel like the air fryer is the new Instant Pot. Chris was saying that when we were prepping for this video, and I completely agree. It is all the rage lately. It is all over social media. I feel like everybody has an air fryer now, or I should say a lot of people have air fryers now. So if you don't know what to do with your air fryer, we are going to show you what to do. Before we continue with this video, we wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor today, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. It's a great place to explore new skills, deepen your existing passions, or get lost in your creativity. The good thing about Skillshare is it's curated specifically for learning, meaning there are never any ads, and they're always adding new premium courses as well. And it's less than $10 a month with their annual subscription. Two classes I'm excited to dive into are portrait photography with Jessica Kawesi, and I follow her on YouTube. I was so excited to see a course from her, as well as plants at home with Christopher Griffin of Plant Queen. So if you want to check out Skillshare, we have a link in our description now, and the first 1,000 of you will get a free premium membership, so make sure you don't pass on that offer, and let's get back into the video. So the first thing we're going to be making today is some air fried tofu, and I feel like this is a very simple, very basic recipe, and a really great way to elevate your tofu. It is so delicious, and like I said, very easy to make. So the first thing we're going to grab is a reusable bag or a Tupperware or a bowl or anything that you can mix the tofu in. I really like this because it's reusable, it's sealable, and you can like shake everything in it and not have it spill, and it's just very handy. So to my bag, I'm first going to add my seasonings for my tofu. So I have some tamari here. You can also use soy sauce if you're not gluten-free, or if you just like soy sauce better. Then I'm adding in some olive oil. If you don't have olive oil, you could totally opt for another cooking oil of your choice. And then for the seasonings, super simple, some garlic powder, black pepper, and then a little bit of sriracha. I am not a huge fan of spice, so I'm just adding a little, but you can just adjust that to your taste. What I'm gonna do is actually just close this up and just kind of shake everything together, make sure it's all mixed. You can see it from the front. It's getting well incorporated. And then I'm going to add in some tofu. So I pressed a block of tofu and I cut it into little cubes, and I'm just going to add that in. And same thing, I'm gonna seal this up. I'm gonna toss that again. Wow, beautiful. Also, this recipe is really easily customizable, so you can add other seasonings as desired. The last thing I'm adding to the tofu is some cornstarch, and this helps the tofu form a nice crispy skin. And if you don't have cornstarch, you can also use flour. Again, we are going to just give that a good toss, make sure everything is well coated in that cornstarch. Arrange the tofu in a single layer. We're going to air fry it until it is nice and crispy, making sure to mix it halfway through. The key to making this tofu perfectly is to allow it to cool before you dig into it. It's gonna be so hard because it's gonna smell so good. You can eat it straight out of the air fryer, but it's not gonna be as crispy. Once it cools though, it gets a crispy, crunchy exterior. Let me show you. You hear that? So good, so easy, so delicious. I really hope you can try this out, and let's get on with the next recipe. The next recipe we're making is an air fried French bread pizza recipe, and this is just as it sounds. We're gonna take some French bread and turn it into pizza. This recipe is very simple, and what I love is that you don't have to make any dough, or even if you buy pre-made dough, you don't have to roll it out, stretch it out, get it to be the perfect shape and the perfect thickness. Your French bread's already ready to go, and all you have to do basically is dress it up and air fry it, and you'll have yourself some pizza. So the first thing we're going to do is have our French bread, and then we're gonna have it again lengthwise. Then I'm going to brush the French bread with some olive oil, and the olive oil is optional. You could totally skip this, but I like to add it because it makes it extra crispy. And we're gonna pop this into the air fryer. And the reason we're air frying it first before adding toppings is that it dries out the top of the bread, and it makes the sauce much easier to spread, and it also prevents the bread from getting really mushy. So once that's air fried, I'm going to spread on some pizza sauce, and then I'm going to sprinkle on some vegan cheese, and then pop that into the air fryer. When I pulled it out of the air fryer, I added some thinly sliced basil along with some red pepper flakes and also some vegan Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna try these, and I did add some red pepper flakes onto it because Chris is going to be enjoying them, and I don't like spicy things, but I'm gonna take one for the team and do a taste test for you because I wanna show you how crunchy these are. They're like perfectly crunchy on the outside, but then the inside is still soft and still has some give. And it's just so delicious. I don't know about you, but I love thick crust pizza. Get that thin crust out of my face. Sorry, Chris.
Get that cone out of my face!
Thick crust is the way to go. Chris is behind the camera protesting right now. I love thick crust. That's good. It is vegan cheese, so it doesn't melt the same, but you know, it's still delicious.
Ooh, garlic powder.
Or like diced up garlic would have been delish. Or I think it's also spicy. All right, next recipe. The next thing we're making today is some lumpia, which is basically Filipino spring rolls. And this is a recipe that is very popular on our blog, and it's also one of my favorite veganized Filipino recipes. I'm very proud of this recipe. A lot of people have asked for an air fryer option for this, so I'm going to show you how to do that today. Get it perfectly crispy, crunchy, and just as delicious. So let's go. First, we're gonna prep a flax egg. We have some water. I'm adding some flaxseed meal. And I'm just gonna mix that together and then set that aside to thicken. So I'm gonna be making a cornstarch slurry for this. It's basically gonna be like a glue. So I have some hot water here and I'm adding in some cornstarch. And I'm gonna mix that together. And this is going to help us seal our lumpia. To my food processor, I'm adding in some water chestnuts along with some nori. And I like to add this in place of shrimp because my family typically adds shrimp, so I like it for a fishy flavor. Then I have some carrots, garlic, and some green onions. We are going to process all of this together until it is all evenly chopped. Just make sure all the nori goes in. Sometimes that sticks to the sides. All right, I'm going to transfer that to a bowl. You can finely chop this by hand too if you don't have a food processor, but this just really speeds things up for me. I'm also adding in some soy sauce, some salt, black pepper, the flax egg that we prepared earlier, and then some plant-based ground beef. And we're going to mix this all together until it is nice and uniform. Next, I have my wrapper laid out, and I'm gonna add some of my filling. And this does get messy, but basically I use my hands to form it into a log, like so, and try to get it as evenly spaced out as possible so that the lumpia is even throughout. With all the extra on my fingers, I just go like this so that I don't waste it. Next up is rolling. There's many different ways to do this, but we like to just do it kind of like a cigar. So I hold it up here, I'm rolling it, rolling it. Then just tightly roll it, make sure it is very tight. Next, we're going to take our cornstarch and we're just going to glue the ends, or wet the ends I should say, and then just tightly roll the lumpia, roll it around a little so that it sticks. And then we're going to brush it with some oil. And now I'm going to take some kitchen shears. You can cut it in half or you can cut it into thirds. I'm gonna cut it into thirds because I like a little snack-sized bites. And now we're gonna pop them into the air fryer until they are nice and crispy. These turned out awesome, and I want to remind people that air fried food is not going to look like deep fried food because it doesn't have the same golden brown color, but it's equally as delicious, as crispy, and it's cooked through. So I'm going to give you guys a taste test because that's the most important part. Listen for this. So freaking good. I'm so proud of myself for this recipe. I really hope you can try this out, and I really hope you like it. I'm going to devour this whole plate right now. The next thing we're going to be making are some crispy ranch kale chips, and this recipe is actually on our blog, but we're going to show you how to make it in an air fryer. And this recipe is so good, and it's really simple to put together. I wanted to jazz up these kale chips just a little bit more, and that's why I'm doing the ranch flavor. It's a bit more decadent, I guess, but it is very delicious. If you wanted to just do salt, pepper, and oil, you could totally do that for this as well. But I just wanted to change it up. The first thing that I did was I destemmed my kale and I just ripped it up into smaller pieces using my hands, and I'm going to set that aside. So to my high-speed blender, I'm adding in some cashews that I soaked in some boiling water for about 20 minutes, along with some vegan Worcestershire. Make sure it's vegan and it doesn't have anchovies. Some water, apple cider vinegar, or you can do lemon juice, nutritional yeast, onion powder and garlic powder, and then a pinch of salt and pepper. We're going to blend that until it's as smooth as we can get it, and it's not going to be completely smooth, but that's totally fine because the little bits of the cashews are going to add some nice texture to the kale chips. And once that's all blended up, we're going to add in some chives, parsley, and dill, and then just mix that together by hand. Next, I'm going to add the cashew mixture to my kale, and we're just going to use our clean hands to massage the cashew mixture into the kale. You could also just eat this as a salad. It is very tasty. And now we're going to pop them into the air fryer until they are nice and crispy. These are perfectly crispy, crunchy, delicious. I want you to listen to this. So good. Doesn't even taste like kale, and I hope that you can try these out. So somehow we lost the intro to this recipe, but I'm gonna do it again right now. So the next recipe we're making is for some Brussels sprout chips, and I wasn't a huge Brussels sprout person prior to this recipe, but this convinced me that I love Brussels sprouts, and it requires 5 simple ingredients. It is really easy to make, and it's delicious. The first thing we're going to do is separate our Brussels sprout leaves and basically peel the Brussels sprouts. So we're going to cut the end off, just compost this, and then we're going to peel off each individual leaf, and you can cut off a little bit again as needed to peel the Brussels sprouts. So we're gonna continue doing this with all of our Brussels sprouts. So the most time consuming part about this recipe is peeling the Brussels sprouts, but once you have that done, it's really easy to do from there. So once the Brussels sprouts are peeled, I'm going to add some oil, and then now I have some garlic powder. Then I'm going to add a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper. And if you'd like, you can add other seasonings, but I'd like to keep it very simple. Now I'm just going to mix this until everything is well coated and seasoned, and we're gonna pop it in the air fryer. Our chips are done. I actually burned half of the batch. I was very sad, but these are the ones I was able to salvage. They're so delicious. They're my favorite way to eat Brussels sprouts. You can find the full recipe on our blog, linked down below. I'm gonna give it a little taste test for you because I feel like that's the most important part, and I want you to hear the crunch, so here we go. You can already hear it now. ASMR. You hear that? So good, so delicious. Like I mentioned earlier, you can season this however you'd like. I like to keep it simple, salt, pepper, and a little garlic powder, but you can add other things and make it your own. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope that you enjoy these recipes if you try them out. All the details for the recipes are linked down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us here on YouTube, and consider subscribing if you aren't already subscribed. And also a big shout out to our sponsor today, which was Skillshare. If you enjoyed this video, let us know if you want more air fryer recipes. We are down for another one. We actually were considering doing some desserts. I feel like that would be a fun idea. So if you like that, leave a comment down below and let us know. That is all for us today. We will see you in our next video, and yeah, talk to you later. Bye.